Hello everyone, welcome to SW News. Today we are going to talk about the global media coverage regarding the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic in India and how the Modi government handled it. So we are going to talk about that, but before that, if you are watching this video on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, you like this video and you comment below it. And if you are watching this video on Facebook, then please do like our page and share this video to as many people as possible. Let's begin. India is currently trying to breathe and stay afloat to not drown in the COVID-19 wave that has swept us. The cases in the country have seen an astronomical rise. For almost a week, we are recording more than 3 lakh cases per day. Since last few days, our single-day death toll has also crossed 2,000 mark. In many parts of the country, the COVID-positive patients are scrambling to get beds, oxygen cylinders, ventilators, etc. People are waiting in long queues to even cremate their loved ones. Such a horrifying scenario unfolding in the country was also finally acknowledged by the Prime Minister. During his monthly radio address, PM Modi acknowledged that coronavirus has hit us like a storm and it has shaken the country. But as India's cases rise, it also takes the global surge of COVID-19 cases upward. And this is what the graph of India's coronavirus cases look like. You can see on your screen right now, this is what has taken many experts around the world aback. The numbers of cases have shot up tremendously. And this invited a lot of global attention as well, which the central government is not particularly very happy about. For example, look at this article that was published in The Australian, which is Australia's largest circulated newspaper. In a scathing reportage on India's current COVID situation, titled "Modi leads India out of lockdown and into a viral apocalypse," it wrote the following. Arrogance, hyper-nationalism and bureaucratic incompetence have combined to create a crisis of epic proportions in India, with its crowd-loving Prime Minister basking while citizens suffocate. These scathing words, however, have not gone down well with the Indian High Commission in Australia. On Monday, the Indian High Commission wrote a letter that described that the article was completely baseless, malicious and slanderous. The letter further says that it appears that the report has been written only with the sole objective of undermining the universally acclaimed approach which was taken by the Government of India to fight against the deadly global pandemic at this decisive moment. The letter was posted on the official Twitter account of Indian High Commission Australia. In the letter, further on, India's Deputy High Commissioner P.S. Karthikeyan stated that while our scientific community is still looking at possible reasons for the sudden surge in infections, including on the role of infectious new strain that came from outside India, the article has strangely rushed to blame the surge on the restricted election campaign by Honorable Prime Minister of India and one religious gathering. However, it must be noted here that Modi government's handling of COVID-19 came under severe criticism back home too. Not only from the common citizens and the opposition parties, but from high courts in particular. Delhi High Court recently slammed the government over sloppy arrangement as people die of lack of oxygen. Madras High Court yesterday pulled up the Election Commission for failing to ensure COVID protocols during elections, so much so that it said that the Election Commission is singularly responsible for the second wave of pandemic in the country. Apart from this, a huge question mark also remains on the accuracy of the data regarding COVID-19 deaths in India. Now let us also talk about the global media coverage, what the other media organizations across the globe are talking about. Let us first talk about the Washington Post. Calling India's new wave of COVID-19 as avoidable as it is tragic, the Washington Post stated that the sudden wave was caused by India relaxing the restrictions too soon. Tens of thousands of spectators were allowed to fill stadiums for cricket matches. Movie theatres were opened and the government permitted enormous religious gatherings such as the Kumbh Mela, a festival in which millions of Hindus gathered to bathe in the river Ganges. The newspaper said this. It further said, India is not a faraway problem. In the pandemic time and distance, every place is nearby. So this is what Washington Post wrote about India. Let us now also talk about The Guardian. Sharing Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the current condition, The Guardian in its editorial wrote, and I quote, the Indian Prime Minister's overconfidence lies behind the country's disastrous COVID-19 response. Guardian is of the view that the Indian Prime Minister suffers from overconfidence in his own instincts and the buck stops with him. It further says he should acknowledge and make amends for mistakes that have caused enormous suffering. He needs to engage with experts on how to uphold restrictions, ensure government delivery matches promises, and drop the sectarian ideology that divides when unity is required. Future historians will judge Prime Minister Modi harshly if he continues with the exceptionalist views that have led to a disastrous public health outcome. So this is what Guardian has said. Let us now move on to the New York Times, what it has said. But first of all, let me show you the front page that New York Times had published. There was a picture of a crematorium taken from, this was an aerial shot of a crematorium of New Delhi. So this is what the New York Times front page looked like. Now let's talk about the article. According to an article published in the New York Times, the crisis was deepened by missteps and complacency. It said, and I quote, "Complacency and government missteps have helped turn India from a seeming success story into one of the world's worst hit places," experts say. An epidemiologist warned that continuing failure in India would have global implications. India's vaccination rollout was late and riddled with setbacks, it further added. It also said, what India needs now, epidemiologists and experts say, is concerted and consistent leadership to contain infections and buy time to make vaccination more widely available and faster. So this is what the NYT article stated. Now let's go to BBC. What did BBC say? BBC report stated that cases have surged during India's second wave, driven by a number of factors. Health protocols have been lax, with mask mandates sporadically enforced. The reputed news organization also attributed the sudden rise in cases to millions attending the Kumbh Mela held in Haridwar of Uttarakhand. It further said, and I quote, "India's healthcare system is buckling as a record surge in COVID-19 cases put pressure on hospital beds and drains oxygen supplies. Families are left pleading for their relatives who are desperately ill, with some patients left untreated for hours." Meanwhile, as the COVID situation in India turns grim, many countries around the world have banned travel to and from India. But the help is also pouring in from global quarters. Key US business groups such as US-India Business Council and the US Chamber of Commerce, besides chief executive officers of more than 40 companies, on Tuesday announced the formation of a global task force on pandemic response, mobilizing for India. This also follows a meeting between US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and members of the US business community. But in fact, the discussion follows a telephone call between US President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday, in which Joe Biden conveyed solidarity with India. Meanwhile, Google on Monday announced 135 crore rupees donation to help get urgent medical supplies, including oxygen and testing equipment for India. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said on Monday that the company is mobilizing its resources to help the COVID-ravaged nation. US, on the other hand, has promised assistance ranging from oxygen supplies to raw materials for COVID-19 vaccines, for critical life-saving drugs to personal protective equipment. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has said on Sunday that her government was also preparing emergency aid for India. UK, on the other hand, is helping us with vital medical equipment, including hundreds of oxygen concentrators and ventilators. France, on the other hand, on Tuesday has announced a support package for India's COVID-19 response, including major equipment such as oxygen generators and liquid oxygen containers that will be shipped by air and sea by the end of this week. In fact, even Australia has also pledged the support. This support will be crucial going into the next month, as a prediction by IIT scientists say that active cases in the country may rise to 38 to 48 lakh. Do let us know what you think about this in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in. Also, a very small request to all of our viewers. First of all, thank you so much for making us reach the milestone of 2 lakh subscribers. If you want to support us further, We have launched a membership drive on our YouTube channel HW News English. You can click on the join button and join our membership. Thank you so much.